Good afternoon. My name is Sheila Lamb. I'm with the Virginia SBDC network. For those of you that are not familiar with our organization, the Virginia Small Business Development Center is a partnership program between the U.S. Small Business Administration, George Mason University, and local host institutions throughout Virginia. With 26 locations across the Commonwealth, we provide training and technical assistance to small businesses in their local communities. Our one-on-one advising services are available at no charge. Today's webinar, Intro to State Government Contracting with SBSD, is presented by the Virginia SBDC Network in partnership with the Virginia Department of Small Business and Supplier Diversity. We are recording today's presentation and it will be posted on our website, virginiasbdc.org. Due to the large number of participants, everyone's microphone is muted and the chat feature is turned off. But if you have questions during the presentation, you can type those into the Q&A box and we will address them throughout and at the end of the session. We have also enabled the live transcript function, which you can show or hide via your own meeting controls. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our presenter for today's session, Chris Lay. Ms. Lay has worked with small businesses since 2007 when she joined a small women-owned marketing company, Asian Marketing Services, as their Director of Business Development. She started the SWaM mentoring program and the Entrepreneur Roadmap program at Northern Virginia Community College. She was a marketing consultant at the Business Development Assistance Group, a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping minority business owners. In 2016, she joined the Virginia Department of Small Business and Supplier Diversity as a business services manager, covering the Northern Virginia region. She continues to work with the aspiring entrepreneurs and small business owners to get them ready and into the Commonwealth of Virginia's procurement system by providing training, workshops, and one-on-one counseling sessions. Please join me in welcoming Chris Lay.
Thank you, Sheila, and thank you to SBDC for hosting this webinar. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well and enjoying this rainy weather. I thank you for choosing to spend your lunchtime with us. I'm Chris Lay, and I am with the Virginia Department of Small Business and Supplier Diversity. My colleague, Kathy Beacon, is also on the call. Kathy, you want to explain to people what you do in your area you cover?
Certainly. So I serve in the same role as Chris. I'm Business Services Manager for Southwest Virginia, so kind of from the Roanoke border over to Tennessee, Kentucky border, down to Danville and over to Allegheny Highlands. And it's a pleasure to join all of you today. And as Chris said, thank you for taking time out of your day to be here.
Great. Thank you, Kathy. So if you want to learn how to get started in government contracting in Virginia, you're in the right place. This webinar gives you the basic steps to get you started. And when we get started, I am going to turn my camera off so you are not distracted by my head bobbing, and I am not distracted by my head bobbing. So if you've not heard of us, we are a small business agency here in Virginia, and our mission really is to provide education, assistance, and access to capital to small businesses. We're here to support you so that you can become successful. And how do we do that? These are our main functions areas. The Virginia Small Business Financing Authority is our financing arm. They provide direct and indirect loan programs. Kathy and I are with the Business Development Outreach Division. We're a small but mighty team who support economic development in the communities in our territories. We work with businesses directly across the Commonwealth, offering one-on-one business counseling, various types of training, events, and workshops in collaboration with our partners, such as the SBDC. We are also the certifying agency for both the SWaM and DBE certification. The SWaM certification is Virginia Small Business Program. It is for small businesses, micro-sized businesses, women-owned or minority-owned business, along with other designations. The DBE certification is a federal disadvantaged business enterprise certification, and it's for those businesses interested in working on transportation projects that uses federal funds. The Sourcing and Compliance Division work with buyers and other agencies to make sure they are strategically sourcing small businesses on their state contracts. This division ensures that agencies in the Commonwealth comply with the 42% small business aspirational goal that we have. So you want to do government contracting. The first thing you need to do is actually register your business in the state procurement system. We call that EVA, and it stands for Electronic Virginia. Excuse me. EVA is a procurement portal, and it's everything you need to know about state government contracting can be found on this website. It is a tool used by over 200 agencies, which includes the colleges and universities, as well as some local governments. It's where you're going to find the opportunities where you can do your market research and respond to opportunities and submit bids. And this is how we do procurement. For opportunities under $10,000, we only need one price quote, so it is not competitive. We call these micro purchases, and the priority for these purchases are going to be for a firm that is micro certified. Because micro purchases are non-competitive, you won't find them posted in EVA until it's already been awarded. That is why doing business development and building relationship with buyers are so important, because these are the opportunities that you get when buyers know you and they know your business. So when they have a need for your service or your product, they can call you directly and get a quote from you. Next up would be what we call small purchases. It's anything between $10,000 up to $100,000. And we prioritize those opportunities for a firm that is SWaM certified. They are competitive, and you will find them in the EVA system before they are awarded. Large purchases in Virginia is anything over $100,000. Most times they're going to be an IFB or an RFP. These opportunities are typically sealed competitive bidding. IFB or invitation for bid type opportunities are awarded based on price. And RFP, such as request for proposal, are awarded to the best overall proposal. Registering an EVA is very quick and it's easy. I say you can probably do your registration in about 10 minutes if you type really fast. You do need to have an EIN number. You're going to have to submit the Virginia Substitute W-9 form, and you have to know your commodity codes. So to register, go to the EVA homepage, which is eva.virginia.gov. Click on the Register Now button on the left panel and follow the prompts and steps to register your business. You're basically creating an account in the EVA system that you maintain and you manage yourself. Registering an EVA is free. The way the EVA system works is when you register and create this account, you're going to put in there the commodity codes of every product or service that you offer, and the EVA system then matches you up to opportunities that's currently open in the system. All that is done for you for free. The EVA will charge you, though, when you win something. So the minute you win a bid, they're going to send you a bill for 1% of the contract price. So keep this in mind when you're bidding on opportunities. And because the EVA system matches you up to opportunities based on your commodity codes, the most important thing when you are creating that account or that profile in EVA is to know your correct commodity codes. You can access it from the homepage at the top tab under Resources and go to NIGP code lookup. When you click on that, this is the screen you're going to get. There are many, many, many codes in the system. As you notice on the screen, everything starts with 0 and it ends in a 00. It is a 5-digit code system. The first number in the code tells you whether it's a product or a service. If the code starts with anything between 0 and 8, it's going to be for a product. If your business provides a service, all of your commodity codes should start with a 9. And then codes that end in the 00 tells you is a category code, such as consulting services, 91800. Do not put in your profile 91800 if you are a consulting business. Click Open that category and select just the type of consulting service that you provide, because as you can see, it's a long list. This is on the screen is just the A's. It starts with audio-visual consulting, and it goes all the way down to utilities consulting. So remember when I said the EVA system matches you up to opportunities? If you were to put in a category code such as 91800, it's going to match you up with every single opportunity in that category. So unless you do all these other types of consulting, your inbox is going to be bombarded with emails from EVA of services you don't provide. That's why it's important not to put in a main category code in your profile. And because everything we do for government contracting is in the EVA system, the EVA system is maintained and managed by the Department of General Services. They also provide weekly training on it. I highly recommend that you take the training from EVA. It is a series of 2 workshops. Workshop number 1 is your basic foundation 101 kind of workshop. And then workshop number 2 is the fun workshop where you're going to do data mining. Remember I said everything is in EVA. All the open opportunities, all the awarded contracts, purchase orders, buyers, vendors. So all that data is in EVA. And workshop number 2 is going to teach you how to navigate the EVA system to find the data that you're going to need in order to be successful in your bids. And then if you need technical assistance, reach out to EVA Customer Care. They are extremely helpful, and it used to be that you could call them, but now they have a new system where you have to actually open up a ticket by filling out the supplier assistant request form. But they're super helpful. The other thing I want to tell you about is the certification programs. So to help small businesses get into government contracting, SBSD offers 2 certification programs, the SWaM and the DBE certification. But let me start off by saying that certification is not required to do government contracting in Virginia. There are many businesses who are currently doing business with Virginia who are not certified. But for small businesses and businesses who are new to government contracting, this certification can give you advantages and help you get started in government contracting. First would be the DBE certification. This is a federal certification program from the U.S. Department of Transportation. It is very specific in its purpose, and it's for businesses in the transportation construction industry. It is used for transportation projects that are federally funded, and it helps small businesses become a part of that bigger contract as a DBE subcontractor. So if this is your industry and you want to learn more about this certification, I do have a contact name for you at the end of the presentation that you can reach out to. His name is Richard Gordon, and understand that the DBE certification is currently undergoing some massive changes. Whereas the SWaM certification is Virginia's small business development program, and it's really for businesses in all industry. And it's to help you get started in government contracting with Virginia. SWaM stands for a small business, a women-owned business, and minority-owned business, but it also includes a micro size. Remember, Virginia has a 42% discretionary spend with SWaM certified businesses, and there's also a 50% goal of subcontracting with SWaM certified business on new capital outlay construction solicitations. Think of the SWaM certification as sort of an umbrella certification. There are many different designations under this umbrella certification that you could be certified for. So you can be certified as a small business, a women-owned, a minority-owned, micro-size, SDV, and the list is really, really long. So the first one you want to be certified for is a small business. And a small business in Virginia is any business having 250 employees or less, or they have $10 million or less in gross revenue. When I say employees under certification, that employee only refers to W-2 employees. 1099s don't count towards this employee number. And you as a business owner, if you're working in your business, but you don't pay yourself as a W-2 employee, you also do not count towards that 250 employee number. And these are maximum numbers. Now, the micro business certification is any business that has 25 employees or less, and they have to have $3 million or less in gross revenue. So for the small, you only have to meet one of the 2 criteria, either the number of employee maximum or the gross revenue maximum. But for the micro certification, you have to meet both the 25 number of employees, and you have to have less than $3 million in gross revenue in order to become micro certified. Now, the women and minority-owned businesses is kind of self-explanatory. The women or minority business owner must own at least 51%, and they have to control the business in order to qualify. We have a service disabled veteran designation, a military family owned designation. Both of these will have to be at least 51% owned or controlled either by the service disabled veteran or by one or more member of the uniformed services, veteran, or dependent for the military family owned certification. Employment service organizations are the only nonprofit who are eligible for SWaM certification. The SWaM certification is for for-profit businesses. The only nonprofit you can get certified for is an ESO, and an ESO has to be certified as an ESO from CARF. ESOs are nonprofits who employ people with disabilities, so think of something like the Goodwill. They will be considered an ESO. We understand that there are multiple federal certifications that you get from the SBA. So if you are already certified as an 8A, a federal service disabled veteran, a women-owned small business, or economically disadvantaged women-owned small business by the SBA, then you can add those federal certifications to your SWaM profile. But understand, we do not certify your business for these certifications and only check them if you are already certified first from the SBA. SWaM certification is now done online. You do the application online and you submit your supporting documents online, and the typical processing time is 60 business days. So think about 3 calendar months. And because it is a full 60 business days that is going to be processed, you can check your status, but it's really just going to say pending for the first 2 months. But once you do get certified, it's going to be valid for 5 years. After 5 years, if you want to continue to be certified, you're just going to reapply to become recertified. It is not a renewal. You actually have to apply and go through that process all over again. Now, I want to spend a little bit of time explaining to you the supporting documents that may be asked. Supporting documents really are based on your application, based on how you answer the questions in your application, and based on the designations that you selected to be certified for. It's not going to be everything that you're seeing on these next few screens, but if it is asked, I want you to understand what it is that we're asking for. So everything on this screen that you're seeing, these 4 things, is going to be required for all applications. The proof of ID is really your business, your driver's license. You have to at least be a green card or permanent resident or a U.S. citizen in order to be eligible. If you are not at least a permanent resident, you cannot apply for SWaM certification. You have to submit to us your resume, and that's your basic resume that when you are applying for jobs that you can use that resume. Just make sure that your business is listed on your resume. And then documented proof of owner's contribution. This is the one requirement that a lot of people don't understand what we're asking for. We're asking you to prove to us by any receipts that you have that you use your own money to create your business. And the best proof that you have is if you're an LLC or a corporation and you created this business with the State Corporation Commission. If you're an LLC, you paid the SEC $100. The SEC then gave you a receipt for that $100. So that receipt, if it has your name on it, that is your proof of owner's contribution. If you don't have that, you can use a receipt when you receive your business license. Or if your business has been in business for more than 5 years and you just don't have these documentation, you can always write us a letter of explanation. And in the letter, just state your name, your business, and that you use your own money. And then just itemize, list all the things you spent for your business, sign that letter and upload that letter for this requirement. Professional copies of professional license and permits. So it's going to be your business license in your local government, where you reside or where your business is located. Sometimes if your business address is the same as your home address, you're also going to be required to have a home-based business permit from your local government or locality. And then if you are also in an industry that is regulated, such as construction contractors, insurance agents, or realtors, architects, those are certain industries that are regulated. You have to also provide us with the certificate or license that you are eligible to operate that business. And then 6 and 7, now this really just depends on how you answer your application. If you put in your application that you had revenue, and this is gross revenue, not profit or loss, if you had any gross revenue for the past 3 years, if you are applying for the certification now, we're going to ask for tax returns for 2024, 2023, and 2022. So for those 3 years, if you had any revenue and you were required to file taxes for your business, we're going to want to see your tax returns. If you put in your application that you did not make any money, it's all zeros, or you just started your business this year, then that is not going to get, the system's not going to ask you for tax returns because you didn't have any revenue. Same with employees. If you put in your application, if you have employees, it is going to ask you for 4 quarters of your Form 941. That is the tax withholdings that you take from employee paychecks. So if you have employees, you're required to take tax withholdings and then remit that. So we're going to want to see that filing. But if you put in 0, the system's not going to ask you for these tax Form 941s. If you are a corporation, you're going to have to also submit these documents, especially if you're a stock corporation. If you are a non-stock corporation, then everything except for the last 2 requirements. For stock corporations, even if none of your stock has been issued, we still want to see both sides of the stock certificate and your stock ledger. If you are a limited liability company, we want to see these 3 documents. The Articles of Organization is the name of the form that you actually submitted for the State Corporation Commission to create your LLC. We want to see a copy of that filing. And when you filed the articles, the SEC gave you a certificate of organization. We want to see that one too. And if you are an LLC with more than 2 owners or more, we're going to ask you for an operating agreement. If you are a single member or the only owner of your LLC and you don't have an operating agreement, you can just write us a letter and explain to us that you're the only member of this LLC and you don't have an operating agreement. Sign that letter and upload that letter instead. For sole proprietor franchises or partnerships, we are going to ask you for these additional documents. Okay, the next few slides, I have screenshots of our certification portal because it has been revamped. And so I want you to have this. So when you receive a copy of the presentation, you can use it for your reference. In order to access the portal, go to sbsd.virginia.gov, click on Quick Links, and then Certification Portal. And this is the screen you're going to see. If this is your first time in the certification portal, click on New User Register here that is circled in red. You're going to create an account. Fill out all the information that is asked on the screen and click on Submit to create your account. Because the first thing you're going to do, your first step in our portal, is to create an account first. When you click on Submit, you're going to get this email the screen that says your account has been created. When you click Continue, you're going to go to get your email that was sent to you with a link to log in. When you go to that link, you get the login screen. And now you can put in the email and password that you had registered and created the account before, and you're going to sign in with that same user email and password. It is going to send you a one-time passcode, and you put in the passcode and click Submit, and then you have to really set up your MFA. You select your method of multi-factor authentication, you enroll, you get your MFA, and you finally log in, you're going to get this screen. You're going to select Link or New Application. Because the SWaM application is tied to an EIN number. So even if you created an application like 10 years ago, even though you didn't submit it, if you just created it and started it, but your EIN number is in our system, the system's going to recognize that your EIN number is there. And because there is only one application or one file in our system per EIN number, it's going to ask you to link back to that file. So when you click on Link or New Application, you have to put in your EIN number. and you'll get one of two messages. Either your EIN number is not in our system, would you like to create a new application? Or your EIN number is in our system, what is your SWaM number? Because it wants you to link back to the old file that you have in the system. Once you do that, this is the actual application screen. You see the tabs on the top with the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's an arrow that keeps going. You're going to fill out the application by going to each of these screens. When you're done filling out all of the screens, you're going to click on the next at the bottom right corner, and then it takes you to your list of supporting documents. You will notice here that for every requirement that we're asking, there's only one upload arrow for you to submit a document. So if you are a business with more than one owner, like you say you have 2 owners, and we want proof of ID, which would be pictures of the 2 owners' driver's license, you're going to have to scan those 2 pictures of the driver's license as one PDF file because there's only one field to upload a document. And that goes for all the other things for the owners. If there's more than 2 owners, more than one owner, all of the requirements for the owners, like resume, passport, driver's license, all those will have to be scanned for the owners together as one PDF file to upload. Once you submit your application you can track it either with your 6-digit tracking number or your SWaM application number, or you can search by your business name. But like I said, it's just going to say pending for the first 2 months. So if you really want to know more accurate status, the best thing to do is to log into the certification portal and look at your application. It will tell you the status of where it's at in its processing timeline. Now, why do you want to be SWaM certified when I said that certification is not required to do government contracting? Well, remember I said the SWaM certification has multiple designations. There's small, micro, women, minority, SDV, so on and so on. Well, the only 2 that really gives you any advantage in procurement are small and micro. And that's really because Virginia's procurement is race and gender neutral. It's only going to be based on your size that gives you the priority of awards. For micro purchases, remember those are any opportunity that's under $10,000. That priority is given to a micro certified firm. And for small purchases, any opportunity up to $100,000, that priority is given to a small certified firm. For opportunities that are awarded based on price, normal procurement rules says that the lowest bid wins. However, if you are a small or certified business and your price quote is within 5% of the lowest bid from a non-SWaM certified business, you actually win. And I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm big business and my colleague Kathy Deacon is a SWaM certified business owner. We're going after the same opportunity. I have the lowest bid at $100. Kathy's bid is $105. Normally under procurement rules, I would win because I have the lowest bid of $100. But because Kathy is a SWaM certified business and her bid is within 5% of the lowest bid from a non-SWaM certified business, she actually wins that opportunity. Now, if Kathy bids was $106, then I actually win because I have the lowest bid. And then for opportunities that's over $100,000, if it is an RFP, and typically RFPs from government agencies will include a requirement that you have to include with your proposal a small business utilization plan. This is a small business plan that the prime who has to come up with to determine what part of the contract or how much of this contract they're going to sub out to SWaM certified businesses and identify those SWaM businesses in their proposal. And that's how small business can get into government contracting as a subcontractor. But if you're the SWaM certified business and you want to be the prime, you're submitting this proposal to win the full points for this requirement, all you have to do is put in the small business utilization plan, is put in your SWaM number. That's it. You don't have to sub out any part of it because you're already the SWaM certified business and you will get the full points for that requirement. And keep in mind, we have a 42% discretionary spend with SWaM businesses. So it's important to become SWaM certified. If you want to be a prime, you can win it and keep everything to yourself. So if you're not calling from Northern Virginia and you're not in Southwest Virginia, these are the other people that we have on our team that could be your business services manager. And then as promised, these are your contacts for VSBFA and for DB certification here in Northern Virginia. If you are interested in learning more about any of the VSBFA loan programs, please contact Don Jakubek. If you think DB certification is helpful to your business, then reach out to Richard Gordon. I would be happy to answer any other questions that you have or to connect you to local resources in this area. So I want to thank you for your time. That is the end of my presentation. And I'm sure Kathy's been answering a bunch of questions. Is there anything left for me?
Is not anything left, Chris.
Kathy has been working hard in the background. So I will put it out there. If there are any other questions while we still have Chris and Kathy with us, go ahead and take advantage now to get those questions answered. I don't see anything hopping in yet. That's a lot of information.
You all at once. So
Yeah. Oh, wait. Okay. Looks like we have a question. So the question is, actually, this will be an easy. Can you put the regional contacts back up?
yes, there you
Someone's
go.
asking for that. So that's done. This other one says the U.S. federal government's procurement of products and services from suppliers is governed in large part by the federal acquisition regulations. Is there a comparable book of procurement regulations governing procurement activities on behalf of the Commonwealth of Virginia?
Yes, you will find it on the EVA website. If give me 1 minute, if I can find it, I will put the link on the chat for you.
Great.
When I said everything for procurement is in EVA, that's also in EVA.
We have a couple more questions.
Yep.
When you're ready.
You can keep going because Kathy could probably answer it while I'm searching for it.
Okay. Question is, could you please give more examples of how the SWaM can win the ordinary non-SWaM bidders?
What do you mean by when?
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand that either.
Okay. Jamila, I'm going to ask you to just maybe re-enter your question another way, please. Let's see. Question, please. Could you clarify that a business must be trading, earning revenue for 2 years before applying for SWaM?
What was that?
Paul's question. Are you looking at the questions? Please, could you clarify that a business must be trading or earning revenue for 2 years before applying for SWaM?
No, you don't have to be in business any amount of time. You don't have to have revenue. So you can just start your business yesterday. As long as you have your documentation, you can apply for SWaM certification today. The number of revenue, the revenue number and employee count, those are maximum numbers. We don't have minimum numbers for eligibility.
We're going to go back to that first question from Jamila. So I'm going to read the original and then a couple more things that came in. So could you please give more examples of how the SWaM can win the ordinary non-SWaM bidders? Went on to say SWaM certification. So if the business was SWaM certified, small business certification. It might be easier if you can go in and read through there. What are the advantages in pricing?
SWaM, for opportunities that's based on price, SWaM business owners have that 5% wiggle room. So even if you're not the lowest bidder, within 5%, you can actually win that opportunity. Is that what you're asking?
Let's see. Let's see. Jamila, did that answer your question? Let's see. So there was another, let's see, regarding the
Oh,
I think it's
5%.
Business to Government Now platform training class. Please introduce the platform and describe its importance to vendors serving in the Commonwealth of Virginia. See, look at the, so that's from Thomas. If you can go in and read that, there's a couple more.
Is it the first one from Thomas McDonald?
Yeah,
No.
it says regarding the B2G Now platform. Do you see that one? At, yeah, number
Okay, I
one
see
at
it. Okay.
1233.
Please introduce platform describes the importance of vendors. Are you talking about the B2G platform in the EVA system? If you're talking about that one, so B2G in the EVA system is just a way for businesses to sort of advertise their services or their goods to each other, to other suppliers within the EVA supplier list. I know there are a lot of people who do that, and I have actually heard from small business owners who have posted on the B2G, the Vibe, that they actually get contacted by like larger companies who are interested in learning more about them, using them as subs.
Let's see, I think I might have missed a couple here, so let me go back.
Yeah, so
Um,
there's another question. Do prime contractors have a way to see who are SWaM certified?
So there is, once you are registered in the EVA system, you are in the EVA supplier list. And if you are SWaM certified, your EVA profile will say that you are SWaM certified. So anyone who are looking for SWaM certified business can look you up in the EVA list, or they can go to our database and look for SWaM certified businesses. I'm gonna have to find that link for the vendor manual and send it to you, Sheila, and you can send it out to the attendees later.
Okay, I'll include that in the follow-up email. That'd be great. Thank you.
Welcome.
Jamari, I hope I'm saying your name right. Rosa says, for SWaM, when uploading your tax returns for 2022, 2023, and 2024, are we uploading all pages or certain? So for 2024, you would need to upload all of the pages. And for the 22 and 23, it would just be the first page of your tax return for each of those years. And again, like Chris mentioned, you'd need to PDF all of those together. And oh, I'm sorry. No, they ask for those separately when you're uploading documents. So yeah, just the first page for 2022, 23, and all of the tax return, the full tax return for 2024.
So for 22 and 23 is the first page of your tax return and your 2 pages of your Schedule C.
Yes. If you file a Schedule C.
If not, then you probably file as an S corp with an 1120S filing,
Yeah.
and it would be the first page of that one.
All right, ladies, I'm gonna let you scan the questions and make sure we've handled everything since we hopped around.
Yeah, I think I'm checking. I think so. I think let's see.
Did we answer this one from Thomas, the EVA platform advanced search functions? Is there a document that describes the opportunity type? So that would probably be also in the vendor manual that I will try to find. It's somewhere in EVA. I just don't know exactly where, if I have seen it. And I will send it to Sheila and she'll send it to you later.
Absolutely. Let's see.
It's definitely there.
There's something here for tax returns. I filed with my 1040, only Schedule C or complete return. Not sure.
That would be the complete return for the most current year, which is 2024, and would be the first page of your 1040 and Schedule C for 23 and 22.
Yeah.
Did we answer this one for solar construction?
Oh, I don't
Do
think
you
so.
have any information on solar construction such as safety, heavy equipment training? I'm not sure I understand what you're asking. You're asking for training on that? I don't have information on that training. Do you, Kathy?
I don't. Mm-mm.
So Ricky, if we're not answering your question, can you clarify for us what you're asking?
And here's another question. After submitting the application for SWaM, do we have to follow up and check how the process is going?
No. So if there's any questions about your application or any of your supporting documents, the certification officer is going to email you. All communication will be on email. So just check your email, or you can log into the portal and just look at your application, because if anything's asked, it will show there too.
If awarded a contract, is there another system besides EVA that a company needs to be in as well?
So I think you're talking about the Ariba system for purchase orders. I believe that EVA is changing that. Don't quote me on it. Take the EVA training and ask the EVA trainer. But basically for Virginia, EVA system is really all you really need to know. There's no other place where we post opportunities or other information about procurement. Is all going to be in the EVA system.
Here's a couple more are popping in. Let's see. Do we have, nope, hang on. I have 8A certification through SAM.gov. Is that valid with Virginia's certifications?
What do you mean by valid?
So I think I can answer that. So the answer is there's a place in the application process that you can check 8A. And then at the end of the application, you're just going to be asked to upload your 8A award letter. And that way you'll show up in the system, both in our system and in EVA's system, as also having the 8A designation. Does that make sense? Can a current federal employee and a small business owner bid for a state government contract? Are there any limitations?
There's no conflict. I don't
Yeah.
know that there's any limitations. If you want to bid on state government contracts, you just have to register yourself as a business in EVA, and then you can bid. If you're not registered in EVA, you actually cannot bid. You have to be there and you have to submit the W-9 form so that we can pay you. So if you're not registered, you can't bid, but if you want to bid, just register.
Yeah. And here's another question, Chris. My question has to do with micro or small business. My business this year has downscaled. This year's revenues will qualify me as a micro, but my previous year's tax returns are for a small business. What category should I put my business in?
Well, that's tough because I think we asked for 3 years. When you apply, you're definitely at least a small. I would check micro and see if you qualify for it. And then see, you may get denied the micro because the other years you were more than $3 million. But if you can explain maybe that you had your revenues going down, you might get it. But I would just try. What would you say, Kathy?
I would say the same, although I think it's going to be tricky, but I would also try, they're just going to, they're either going to deny you the micro or, say, sorry, at this point in time, they may make you wait for the 3-year period to make sure that your revenue is staying, at the micro level. And that's what I would anticipate would happen, but it does, I don't work on the certification team.
Yeah,
So
we're not certification officers, but I would at least try.
It looks like we had another question pop in.
yeah. If your SWaM paperwork is missing something, does that reset the 90 business days?
It's 60 business days, but yes, it does.
Yes. And I'm looking just to make sure.
I think Ricky says he provides training on solar.
Yeah.
I forget what the question was.
I'm going back up, Chris. I kind of forgot too, so I'm
Yeah.
looking to see if I can find it. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm looking too.
It has disappeared.
Well, I was moving things out of the way to clear things for us.
Yeah, do we have any information on solar construction such as safety heavy equipment training? So
And then you provide that training. So are you trying to,
Yeah, I'm not sure it's a question.
yeah, I don't know what the question is.
Yeah, Ricky, if it's a question, please just if you could be a little more specific, and if not, you can always reach out to one of these fabulous ladies after and get the question answered. Their contact information is up now and will be included in the follow-up email. I think otherwise we have covered everything. We have 15 minutes, so we'll put out a last call for questions. And if there are any last words of wisdom, Chris or Kathy, if you want to share, I'd welcome it.
You want to go first?
sure. I would just say, one of the other things, there are, although at the Commonwealth level, so the state agency level, the two designations that we look at really are small or those agencies look at for purchases are small and micro. There are at the college and university level, many localities, public bodies, they do look at the other certification types. So as they're making purchases and those types and their threshold levels and their goals, they vary by institution. They're typically publicly available, so you can do a Google search if you're wanting to do, business, just say with Radford University. You can look up their SWaM plan and look and see if they've got woman-owned business or service disabled business, 8A business. So I say check everything that you actually qualify for at the beginning, even though at the state agency level, we really do just look at the small and micro designations, but there are other and college and university level, locality level, and some private businesses and corporations also use the EVA system. So, check everything that you qualify for and can support with supporting documents. So, yeah, that's what I think that's what I would encourage you to do.
Just want to add that micro and small are the only designations that get preferences or priorities. That minority, SDV, women-owned, they don't have like set-aside programs for preferences or priorities. However, agencies also have goals for spend with each of the designations that's under the SWaM umbrella. And they have to submit their SWaM plan by the end of September every year. And for each of those designations, they have to at least have a percentage of what they want to spend with each of the categories. So even though the micro and small are the only ones that have priorities, the other ones we do look for them. So if I'm a buyer and I have two pretty equal bids, one is from a firm that has one designation, they're just small, and the other firm has small, micro, women, minority, SDV, they have multiple designations. Everything being equal, I would probably award it to the firm that has the multiple letters after their name because I can check more boxes. So even though there are no set-asides, no priority or anything, it is always good to have more letters after your name because you're more marketable. It's like when you are applying for a job. The more letters, the more marketable you are.
Yep.
And you
Yeah,
cannot get a contract unless you bid. So just bid on things. Just submit
right.
bids.
There you go. A couple
So,
more questions did pop in. Kathy, do you want to address
yeah, I'll
them?
take Michael's question. How long does it take for typical contract review and acceptance? Is there a standard time frame and method of payment once the contract work starts? I'm going to say no. It is not standard. Every single, particularly the larger ones, the RFPs, they may take longer. If you're doing a quick quote, that might be awarded quickly, but every single good or service that is being contracted for is going to have its own, review time, its own award time and its own way of paying, So all of that'll be set out in the terms and conditions.
Yeah, it's gonna be written in the RFP or the opportunity itself. I think the typical payment period is 45 days, or is it 30 days?
I don't know that. Yeah, some of them are 60, some are 90, yeah. So I would say it's not typical. I think it varies by contract. So any recommendations for building relationships with buyers? Chris, you want to take that?
That's a tough one. You really have to do your homework. Take the EVA training. The second EVA training is
Yes.
going to show you how to run reports. And you can run a report to see which buyers from which agencies buying the most on your specific NIGP commodity code. And those are the ones you want to target. But don't send them that generic email.
Yeah.
Send them more specific and show that you have done your homework on how they buy. Like, who are they buying from? Are they mostly buying micro purchases? Are they buying off existing contracts? Are they buying from SWaM vendors? Like, really do your homework by doing those reports. And then when you reach out to them, it will show that you've done your homework. It shows that you've seen their buying trends. And that's the best way to get a response from a buyer if you're going to email them.
And if you guys haven't heard of them, capability statements are a really good way to introduce yourself to a buyer. You can email me. I've got templates for that. I know you guys do at Virginia SBDC. In fact, I think that's the template that I use to send out to folks, Sheila.
That's
And
fabulous.
so, it's like your business resume, right? It kind of highlights what your core capabilities are. It lists all of the NIGP codes, and if you're doing work at the federal level, it also lists your NACE codes, which are the federal equivalent of the NIGP. List your contact information, and that's kind of a nice way of making an introduction to yourself. But I agree with Chris. Do your homework first, because if you're sending even if you've developed a capability statement, if you're sending a capability statement and you don't offer, the good or service that a particular buyer is buying, you're kind of wasting your time and their time too. So I think research on who your buyers are is always probably top of mind.
And to add to that thought, don't just send your capability statement at the first time you're reaching out to
Yeah.
somebody. We are government entities. We do not click on links from people we don't know. So always ask, after you've developed like a relationship, email them a couple of times and ask them, can I send you my capability statement or a price sheet or something? If they say yes, then send it. Otherwise, they're just not even gonna click on it because they don't know you. And we've done annual training on not clicking on things from people we don't know.
Yeah, that's a great recommendation. Like, I think in anything you do almost, right?
Right.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, you want to take a look at the Q&A and see if there's anything else that we have time for? We've got about 5 minutes.
So there's a question about the business one stop. It probably is still active. We are upgrading the business one stop website, but that $20 is what you pay to get the wizard. That really kind of walks you step by step on how to create a business. That's what that $20 is for. But the business one stop website is getting upgraded.
So we'll take this to, are there any significant procurement changes on the horizon, possibly following or stimulated by the coming Virginia election? We
just saw
we
that.
will all find out together.
Yes, we'll find out in January.
Yep. And are biz dev and outreach service managers able to work with an out-of-state businesses? My company is located in Asheville, North Carolina, so I'm not sure if I would qualify for the Blue Ridge region. you're actually probably close to my regions. You're right there at Tennessee, Kentucky, and I'm happy to have a conversation with you. Are you interested in doing business in Virginia? We would love that. And you can reach me if you'd like at the Kathy Deacon contact list information listed on the slide that Chris has still got up.
And then I think Sheila can send out the capability template.
I'll just add that to the email. Yes.
Yep. So we do work with businesses outside of Virginia if they're trying to do business in Virginia. So I work with a lot of businesses from DC and Maryland and even Pennsylvania and New York.
That's good to know.
We have 4 more minutes. Anything else?
Yeah, that's right. You all have covered a lot.
Hey, Kathy, this is why I need you to help with the questions.
For sure.
I told Chris at the beginning, I was a little afraid we just having her on, and she had so much to share, and it's always
Kathy
helpful
will
to
be
have
here.
someone in the background.
She was nervous because Angie wasn't coming.
I was like, oh no, they're my tag team.
You do need 2 people.
All right, I'm gonna let you all look at that last question and address it if you want to. Actually, the one from
Contract to SBIR phase 3 contracts. I don't know enough SBIR to answer that. What about you, Kathy?
I don't either. Can state and local government contract through SBIR phase 3 contracts? I don't know the specific answer to that question, but I will tell you, William, if you'll shoot me an email, I know who to put you in touch with to get you a relevant answer to that
Yeah.
question and an accurate answer. So shoot me an email and I'm happy to put you in touch with that person.
Fabulous.
SBFA person.
Okay, did we cover it all, ladies? Did you all cover it all?
I think so.
I think so. Okay, well, thank you
It
all.
was great to join you all today. Thank you so much for
Yes.
allowing me to participate.
Kathy, you are always
Thanks for
welcome.
coming, yes. You can
Anytime.
take over next time you want.
I was gonna say, we could add you to the list. That'd be great. Thank you
An
both,
all-girl
ladies.
show.
I want to thank everyone who joined us today as well. As a reminder, you all are going to receive an email, hopefully by tomorrow, with a link to the recording and to the slides and all the other promised information. If you would like to sign up for upcoming webinars or access recorded webinars, please visit virginiasbdc.org/training. This webinar and other SBD resources are designed to be used in collaboration with your local SBDC advisors. You can sign up for a free and confidential session by emailing help@virginiasbdc.org or via our website. And we do hope to see you all, including Kathy, at our next session. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.